In the years before every major global conflict, the first warnings don't arrive as explosions or headlines or marching armies, they arrive quietly, disguised as financial stress, political tension, and a slow erosion of trust in systems that once felt permanent. In 1913, the world believed it had outgrown war. Trade moved freely across borders. Capital flowed without friction. Nations were economically entangled like never before. Many argued that war was no longer rational, too costly, too interconnected to be possible. 1 year later, World War I began. In the late 1920s, the global economy told a similar story. A new era of progress. Easy credit, soaring asset prices. A sense that the system was finally under control. But beneath the surface, inequality widened. Debt piled up, and stability became an illusion. When the system broke, it didn't just trigger a financial collapse. It reshaped politics, radicalized societies. And within a decade, the world was at war again. History doesn't repeat itself cleanly. It doesn't follow scripts. And it never announces what comes next. But it does leave patterns. And as the world moves toward 2026, those patterns are becoming harder and harder to ignore. Today's global economy is more interconnected, more leveraged, and more fragile than at any point in history. Debt is no longer an emergency tool. It has become the operating system. Governments run permanent deficits. Corporations survive only on cheap credit. Households borrow just to maintain their living standards. This entire structure assumes stability will continue, not because it is guaranteed, but because the alternative is unthinkable. Global debt has reached levels that, in previous eras, would have triggered crises. Central banks, once seen as stabilizers, are now constrained by inflation, by political pressure, by the sheer scale of the system they were meant to control. This is not automatically a collapse, but it becomes dangerous when confidence begins to weaken. Financial systems do not fail because numbers stop working. They fail because belief does. Belief that debts will be repaid. Belief that currencies will hold value. Belief that institutions are still in control. When that belief cracks, markets do not unwind slowly. They break suddenly. By 2026, multiple structural pressures converge at once. High interest rates collide with record debt. Aging populations strain social systems. Energy transitions disrupt resource markets. Supply chains optimized for efficiency reveal deep vulnerabilities. Together, they amplify one another. Ever feel like the world is becoming more divided? For decades, we lived in an era of relative stability, built on the foundations of the post-World War II economic order. Countries worked together, trade flowed freely, and a sense of shared progress seemed possible. But lately, things have started to shift. That old sense of geopolitical trust is wearing thin. We're seeing a rise in nationalism, trade disputes are becoming more common, and the global institutions that once held things together are facing major challenges. It's like the world is breaking up into competing blocks, each looking out for its own interests first. This isn't just a political headline. It affects everything from the price of your phone to the security of our future. What does this new, fragmented world look like? And how did we get here? Let's dive deeper into the forces reshaping our planet. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights. At the same time, geopolitical trust is eroding. The post-World War II economic order was built on the idea that cooperation reduces the incentive for conflict. Global institutions were designed to make war irrational and economically devastating. That system depends on shared rules. Those rules are now contested. Trade is increasingly weaponized. Sanctions are no longer limited tools but routine strategies. Financial systems are politicized. The dollar-centered global order, once a stabilizing force, is now viewed by many nations as a strategic risk. As alternatives emerge, fragmentation accelerates. In the 1930s, economic collapse did not automatically cause war, but it transformed political norms. It normalized authoritarian solutions. It reframed aggression as necessity. Leaders did not rise by promising conquest. They rose by promising order, dignity, and protection from chaos. War came later, presented as defense or restoration. A similar pattern is visible today. Political systems are becoming more rigid and polarized. Compromise is portrayed as weakness. Economic failures are externalized onto rivals. Domestic instability is increasingly blamed on foreign threats. When a country's economy starts to crumble, what happens next? Stability disappears, and governments scramble to keep their power. This is where things get dangerous. They often turn to nationalism, using patriotism to distract from the financial chaos. Military might suddenly becomes the ultimate symbol of control and strength. Think about it. A global financial collapse doesn't directly light the fuse for war, but it definitely narrows the path to peace. It pushes leaders towards taking big risks and makes playing it safe a political death sentence. As the pressure cooker heats up, mistakes are more likely. A small military move can escalate quickly. Before you know it, local skirmishes become battlegrounds for the world's biggest powers. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more insights. Modern conflict rarely begins with declarations. It unfolds through cyber operations, financial warfare, proxy battles, and information campaigns. Markets themselves have become battlegrounds. Currency stability, energy access, and technological dominance are strategic assets. In this environment, a financial crisis becomes a security crisis. If currencies destabilize, nations protect capital. If trade collapses, states secure resources. If institutions lose credibility, power shifts away from cooperation and toward force. Every major global collapse starts the same way. It's not with a loud bang or marching armies. It begins with quiet signals, the kind most of us overlook. The real danger isn't one crisis, but many hitting all at once. Imagine a debt crisis crashing into an energy shortage, or a currency collapse happening at the same time as a regional war. It's like a perfect storm of instability. And in our digital age, panic moves at the speed of light. In the past, rumors took weeks to spread. A bank run might have taken days to build. Today, it happens in hours. Markets can plummet before governments even have a chance to hold a meeting. Policy decisions that used to take months are now expected overnight, but they often come too late. Public trust can evaporate in a single news cycle. Time itself feels like it's been compressed, and our systems are struggling to keep up. By 2026, we could hit a tipping point where the old tools just don't work anymore. What happens when raising interest rates can't calm the markets? What if stimulus spending just creates more inflation instead of growth? And what if sanctions meant to control rogue actors end up fracturing the global order instead? History gives us a chilling perspective on moments like these. Major conflicts, like world wars, are never born from a single isolated decision. They grow slowly out of systems under immense strain, leaders feeling cornered, and societies being told that conflict is the only way forward. No generation ever thinks it's marching toward a catastrophe. Each one believes it's just managing risk or protecting its future. But looking back, the pattern is always painfully clear. Financial excess leads to collapse. Economic pain fuels political extremism, and aggression is disguised as self-defense. Now, this doesn't mean we're doomed to repeat the past. History provides warnings, not a fixed destiny. The real question isn't whether another financial crisis is coming. It's whether we've built up enough resilience and global cooperation to prevent an economic shock from turning into a geopolitical disaster. When our systems are pushed to the brink, they reveal what we truly value: stability or dominance, cooperation or control, long-term survival or short-term power. The future won't be shaped by one single event, but by the thousands of choices we all make under pressure. Those are the moments that truly define history. Thanks for watching.